I will discuss things that you need to prepare and what to expect at an airport in Japan. Hello, Jeff Tinagan here of Japan Japan. So I had two friends who just came to Japan this month, and they're just willing to share their experiences to you. I traveled to Japan last January, and it has some subtle differences in terms of the airport procedures this month. So please do watch them. So by the way, I'll be using English only here because I received these comments.
For God's sake, speak English. Stop speaking this alien language. Pack off, pack off, pack off, pack off, pack off.
I didn't expect that my video would be useful to other viewers out there, especially non-Filipino viewers. And because it was a flight from the Philippines to Japan. Anyway, let's jump into it. Let's go. So there are three parts of this video. We have the before departure, arrival in Japan, and post-arrival. Before the departure would be you would have mySOS application, the PCR test. You also have the vaccination certificate and the MOFA COVID certificate or the QR code at the end of your registration. So this would be the before departure. And thank you to Jackie-sensei and Kuya Gary. Those are my two friends in Japan that they're willing to share the experiences to this community. One thing that is different from the previous travel protocol is the mySOS app. And second, the difference is the duration of the quarantine. But let me discuss first the mySOS app. So they already have this fast track where you would register and input documents into the application. This was not on my flight last January, and let's just check it out. So the fast track is available for those entering Narita International Airport, Haneda, Chubu, Kansai, and Fukuoka Airport. So this is the difference. You would have different languages here: Japanese, English, Chinese, Vietnamese, I think, and Indonesian. And you would see that what you prepare smartphone device with mySOS app installed, passport number, vaccination, and so on. You can check this out, and I'll just link them down below. So you're gonna input the PCR test, the MOFA certificate, and the vaccination certificate. Last time, before we did not do this one, last January, there was no fast track nor normal lanes. It was just all normal lanes. We have to go through the same lane and then just submit the documents and show the proof of our vaccination, our proof that we have the mySOS app, that we have the negative PCR tests, and so on. Okay, so you would see that there would be a yellow and a green thing here, okay? So yellow is the under review mySOS app. So we have my friend number one, Jackie-sensei, actually did and finished this into green, while Gary-sensei actually didn't. So she was stuck in the yellow part, and you must finish this one before departure. And there was like a time thing. It's like a pre-check-in application. If you weren't able to make this one green, then you would do a normal lane. Now if you did make it green, then you would have the fast track lane. Now if you're in a normal lane, therefore you're gonna present all the documents at the airport. You would be in the fast track lane and you would be in the normal lane. Next, so arrival in Japan. The first one would be saliva test, and number two, inspection of other documents and mySOS app, the settings. Now they're gonna go over your settings as what I remember last January, and the same thing that they did this month with Jackie-sensei. I am sure that this would be like the settings part where you must leave the settings of your Google Maps linked to your mySOS app to track your whereabouts. So if you're really at your home quarantine, inspection of other documents just in case, and release of test results after your saliva test. Now it depends on the airport. Maybe this would be 30 minutes or probably 60 minutes, or maybe I don't know. But in my case, it was just like 20 minutes waiting. It depends on how many travelers are in your airport. And of course, you would go through the immigration. The same thing if you're in a re-entry permit or you have a working permit, working visa, trainee visa, and so on and so forth. But as of this moment, we still don't have tourist visas coming in. And of course, the customs where they would check your baggage if you have like illegal meat and so on. Of course, your baggage if you have goods that are prohibited here in Japan. Now let's go to post-arrival. When you arrive to Japan, it depends. I have a video about that wherein you would have no quarantine or you would have 3 days or 7 days. And you can also visit this link that I would be also putting it at the description box. And let's click this one. You see this part here. First one is that there are 106 countries. Okay, so this includes, of course, my country over here, Asia, Oceania, North America, Latin America, Europe, and USA over here. So those are the 106 countries that will not be subject to denial of permission to enter. So they will be allowed. It's kind of confusing. Not be subject to denial of permission. Maybe permitted is a better word. It's kind of long. And these are the countries that would be denial of permission to enter Japan. Okay, so those are and you would see also here the different kinds of quarantine that you'll be having. 3-day quarantine, and I've discussed this one in my previous video. If you're not from a designated country and you got 3 vaccination shots already, and the home quarantine and other measures are not required. So this is like our goal. Okay, so let's go back. So this includes the type of quarantine that you'll be doing. So I'll just link them down below. Okay, so to be more specific, I have this another link. So this includes the use of public transportation. First one, okay, this is almost the same thing, and I'll just give some examples. And again, I have discussed this one in my previous videos, and you can read this one alone. So the use of public transportation in Japan. Okay, this is like the most important part of that. 24 hours of the test. What I did last January was I had like onegaishimasu. I asked help from Kat-sensei and her family to pick me up from the airport. So this one is kind of a good thing for all the residents of Japan and all the travelers to Japan, because you don't have to book a taxi and it's quite expensive, and you don't have to rent a car just to go from the airport to your apartment. Okay, so this is the same thing, and it just explains if you would get no quarantine or like 3 days quarantine, home quarantine, or facility quarantine, or 7 days. And you can just read this one. And of course, I have also another video about this one, that the valid vaccines are over here. So the concrete examples that I have, so friend 1 is actually Jackie-sensei with 2 vaccine shots, and friend 2 is Gary-sensei with 3 vaccine shots. And of course, you have friend 2 and Gary-sensei's nephew with 3 vaccine shots. But the first 2 vaccine shots is actually not valid, because the reason is it's Sinovac. So a lot of vaccines, especially in the Philippines, they use Sinovac. So what happens is they don't count it. Because of that, they would have a different quarantine duration. What do you think? Now, friend 1 with 2 vaccine shots, valid vaccine shots, how many days? What do you think? Now the answer is actually 7 days. Okay, so Jeff, you told us in the other videos that you would have 3 days if you have 2 vaccine shots. Okay, now let me explain. It's Japan's rule that you can cut it to 3 days if you have a PCR test on the 3rd day and it will be negative. So you have a saliva test at the airport, and then on the 3rd day, he rose again. I'm sorry. Hey. On the 3rd day, you would have a PCR test on a authorized PCR center or a hospital, and then it would be cut into 3 days. Most of my friends that I know who traveled to Japan just this month actually did not have the PCR test, because it would break the bank, you know, it's 20,000 yen. Next one, so let's have a friend 2, which is Gary-sensei with 3 vaccine shots. And of course, he is from non-designated country or a safe country, or the Philippines. Therefore, he actually had 0 days. Okay, so no quarantine for Gary-sensei. Well, yeah, because he was vaccinated 3 valid vaccine shots in Japan. And the last one, his nephew. First 2 not valid shots, and then the last one is a valid vaccine. Japan actually gave him 7 days. Okay, 7 days. So it's kind of funny because they live in the same apartment right now, but Japan gave him 0 days. No quarantine is actually 7 days, so I don't know what's the point. But anyway, that's the rule of Japan. So that's it. I wish you luck on your flight to Japan. If you're getting value from this video, please do like the video and share it with your friends that needs this video. Or you can subscribe and watch for more videos on my channel. So you can watch other videos over here. Over here. Yeah, over here. Yeah, over here. So thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye bye. Mata ne.